So before we get on with the eye makeup, I thought I'd show you the only two things that I got the other day when Alice and I went to Oberhausen and we visited the Sephora there. For those of you who don't follow me on Instagram, my friend from Alice's Beauty Madness, whose channel I'm going to link in the description for you if you want to check her out, she's awesome. She and I went to Oberhausen, which is in Germany, because we wanted to visit the Sephora there, and we were hoping to be able to see live a couple of brands that otherwise we don't really have access to and we can never really see in real life. One of those brands is Milk Makeup, and luckily for us this Sephora had a stand of Milk Makeup right at the entrance, so we were both finally able to pick up the super famous Milk Cream Bronzer. Mine is in the shade Baked, and I also got this little mini of one of their blushes. This is in the shade Werk. Okay, I see the word, I'm going to spell it out somewhere on the screen for you, and I want to say Werk because this is how the Dutch say work. This is their verb for the word work, so the only way that my brain can process this word is Werk. So I'm sorry, this is the blush Werk. It is a really beautiful, very universal kind of color, but let's just try both of them together on camera so that you can also see. So this is the shade Baked, which I want to say is the lighter shade, but don't quote me on it because actually in the end Alice ran to the Milk stand to grab the bronzers for us right before we were checking out because I was busy trying to locate the mini blushes. So I'm actually not sure that this is the lighter shade. I'm going to try to find out when I'm editing this video and put it somewhere on the screen. But I've seen people apply these directly from the twist tube. I don't really like to do that with my cream products. I like to pick them up on a stippling type of brush, such as this one, and then work them onto my skin like that. I already used the bronzer yesterday and I actually really like it. I would actually be very curious to compare it with other bronzers that I have in my collection in terms of its undertone, because I don't know whether this is really very different from some of the other bronzers that I have, but sometimes I have this feeling and then I put them on my skin and they really look completely different. Anywho, this is a really beautiful, more neutral, warm-ish toned bronzer. It has a very nice, they say it's a matte finish, but to me this is more of a satin finish, which is actually what I would prefer. So I'm very happy with this purchase. It's a really beautiful bronzer. The hype around it is not unsubstantiated. It is a very beautiful bronzer. Very easy to apply. I'm going to work just the tiniest bit here on my temples to give them the tiniest bit of sun-kissed warmth. I really enjoy this bronzer and I can see myself using it quite a fair amount. Now let's try the blush. I apply the blush in the exact same way, by the way. I pick it up on the same brush and then I go in. So the shade of this blush is what I would describe as a naturally flushed cheek. It's a little bit of a natural rosy red. I don't know whether that is coming across on camera, but this is how I would describe this blush. Again, they describe it as a matte finish. I would agree with that, but at the same time I think it doesn't look dull and matte on the skin. I think it looks a little bit more like a satin. So I really enjoy the finish and the undertones of both of these products. Not surprisingly, Alice and I ended up having an absolutely fabulous day, and although we didn't buy that much, I believe she bought the bronzer. Did she buy the mini of a blush as well? I think she bought the mini of a blush as well, and she also bought the Natasha Denona bronze palette, which she had been agonizing about for the past 2 months, and I think based on her Instagram post with the palette, she's quite happy with her purchase, so I'm really glad because I enabled her to buy it. By the way, this is the Dream Glow Kit from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I used this shade over here, the shade Magic, which has a little bit a greenish undertone to it with that pink flash, but I forgot how strong that pink flash is. Anywho, and for today's Pat McGrath countdown, we have number 14, which for me is the Nocturnal Nirvana eyeshadow quad from her holiday collection for last year, 2019. which looks like this. Don't get me wrong, an absolutely fabulous quad, such gorgeous colors. This color here, the duochromatic shade, so beautiful. Now unfortunately I'm not going to be using it today. I'm actually going to be using the blue shade, and dare I say I'm going to try to incorporate this gold shade, because this gold shade is what bothers me the most about this palette and why it ended up so low on my ranking despite the presence of these three absolutely stunning colors. I just think this color doesn't belong in here, but I am going to try to make it work. It has kind of become a standard at this point, so let's just keep it up for consistency. I'm going to take Statuesque, which is again from Pat McGrath, and I'm going to use that as my blending out shade. I don't really find that the Nocturnal Nirvana quad is easy to use on its own only, in the sense that I think I've done one and done looks with the green shade that's very easy to blend out, and because of that like slightly purpley undertone to it, it is very appropriate to be used as a one and done shade. This one I find way too dark for me personally. Maybe you can pull it off, I can't. And this one is a little bit sheer and a little bit too sparkly to be used on its own. Maybe you can use the gold on its own, I have never tried. Do you want to hear a funny story? So this shirt that I have on today, it's this beautiful white shirt which has this gorgeous detail here on the sleeves. I don't know whether you can see. So a while back I went to work, I was wearing this shirt, and like half of the day I was like, something about this feels weird. I don't know what's bothering me, but something about like the way this shirt feels today is bothering me. And lo and behold, after more than half a day of wearing it, and luckily nobody noticed, I had actually put my hands not through the hole where your hand is supposed to go to the actual sleeve. I had managed to shove my hands over here in this hole. Ridiculous, I tell you. I have no idea how I failed to notice that. And I had done this on both of my arms, so they were both equally uncomfortable. It was very funny. I'm going to build it up just a little bit here on the outer corner, but overall keeping it quite soft, because the blue shade we're going to use in a little bit, it is a gorgeous shade, but I have to say it has quite a bit of sheerness to it at the same time, which I don't really mind, because it is the kind of shade that offers you that versatility where you can use it on its own or you can layer it over top of other shades, and it really looks beautiful layered over top of other shades. I know that other people, for instance Flora from Expression, she likes to use this shade only as like a topper. I really like using it also as a like shade on the lid without anything underneath, because I don't really mind that sheerness. By the way, I'm applying a little bit of glitter glue. I'm going to use my finger because I like applying these shades the most like this, and I'm going to apply this shade all over my lid. I'm going to take my blending brush and apply just the tiniest bit of this blue shade and blend around the edges here with Statuesque so that the blend seems a bit more seamless. Taking a little pencil brush and going into this golden shade over here, and let's keep fingers crossed that it works well with this blue. It's not very brightening, is it? Now, I didn't find these golds to be all that brightening, so I'm going to go into the Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, the highlighter one, and I'm going to layer the same shade that I used as my highlighter, the shade Magic, over top, in the hopes that it's going to just lighten up my inner corners a bit and give a little bit of this pink hue, because I feel like that gold also clashes a little bit with the pink highlighter that I put down without really thinking too much about what I'm doing. Okay, I think this is okay. And that is why this gold bothers me so much, because the only shade that it really works well with is this one. If you put this in your outer corner and you put this on your lid, it looks really good. This shade does not really look that great with the green at all. And now that I have also tried putting it in my inner corner together with the blue, I can't really say it works very well with that either. Maybe if you put this on your inner lid, this on your outer lid, you mix them a little bit to like create a greenish hue, that would work. But overall, I like pairing this look with an eyeliner, so I'm going to use my Inglot gel liner in the shade 77. Mine is pretty dang old, so it always needs a drop of Inglot Duraline in order to work, but once that has happened, it's as good as new. I want to keep my lower lash line simple, so I'm actually going to just use one of my Kiko eyeshadow sticks. This one is in the shade 04, which is a very nice brown color. I'm going to apply that in my waterline and blend it a tiny bit with statuesque on my lower lash line. And here you have the final look. Sorry, I'm voguing because I'm way too much into pose right now. I only have 2 episodes left, and at this point I'm like so inspired by the show that I want to maybe do like a Project 5 Wears inspired by pose. Let's go back to our ranking though. So this is the final look. I think it turned out pretty simple. It reaffirmed my opinion that there is no place for this gold in this palette. Normally I'm able to justify the presence of a gold in Pat's color stories pretty well, because I feel like in most of her other palettes, yes, they're repetitive, but they work and they always have slightly different tones to them. This is the only palette where, try as I might, I cannot justify the presence of the gold, and it remains on a relatively low position, even though the rest of the shades are actually quite show-stopping. I hope you enjoyed this look. Oh yeah, by the way, on my lips I'm wearing a combination of 2 lipsticks. The shades Ravenswood, so this one, and the shade Juicy from Urban Decay. One has a little bit more pinky tones, the other one has a bit more like peachy undertones, and the shade Juicy also has a little bit of glitter to it, and I feel like the 2 work really well together. This pretty much concludes this video, a pretty simple look altogether. I really enjoyed creating this look, and I have actually enjoyed wearing this type of, like, a variation of this look quite a few times in the past summer. As usual, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to tune in next week when we're going to be doing number 13 on my ranking, which, if my memory serves me right, is the Bronze Temptation palette. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time. Bye!